Hello, my friends. Happy New Year 2026. We're here. Best wishes. Have an amazing year. It's going to be a blast. Totally. Let's talk about AI. I have a lot of energy, I have a lot of opinions. So let's just talk about how AI impacts compliance because it's not what we expected, for sure. So, you know, I will just give you some observations and then I will tell you my opinion, what it means, and where we're going with this. I started seeing more and more, for example, AI generated CVs and resumes. And you could clearly see that it is AI generated. I don't know about you, but I just see it in 2 seconds. And then I see more and more compliance policies AI generated or regulatory responses AI generated. And it goes on and on and on, like risk assessments, emails, everything. And my point is, in the beginning, we thought, wow, AI is amazing. It's like the best thing ever. It saves us time, it helps us do research faster. It's just a lifesaver. But it's not, because my point is, I asked several people who, for example, were invited to join the interview. Like, I see that you have this thing probably generated by the AI. Why did you use it? And the reason why I asked these questions, because the statement wasn't quite appropriate. For example, somebody junior would have a statement in their CV saying that, you know, seasoned or very experienced, so they kind of missed it, right? Or they would have other statements that are clearly not appropriate. That's kind of one of the signs how I saw that it was coming from an AI. And funnily enough, so I was talking with one of my girlfriends about dating apps, and also it's very clear, apparently, that certain responses or certain profiles are AI generated. And she said that she asked the guy, like, why would you use AI to generate your bio for the dating app, because it's so clearly AI generated? And apparently, the guy gave her the answer, which is very similar. Sorry, it's my coffee machine doing its noises, but let's go with it. Um, the response was the same as this junior person gave me about his CV. They said something to the effect that, oh, I just didn't know how to say it. And when I got this AI suggestion, it was so good. This is exactly what I wanted to say. That's why I use it. And I mean, here's my theory, that it's great if you have some feedback or some ideas or some inspirations from the AI, but you still have like a concept or a direction, what you want to say, what is the main argument, what are your key achievements, what is the most important thing that people should know about you, then sure. So for example, I also use AI. For example, at some point, I was checking the mic application for a client, and essentially I had to say that we don't discriminate against clients, but since we are in a specific business-to-business segment, we expect clients to have certain volumes or certain transaction size that are big enough, which would be appropriate for this segment or this industry. Because, like, essentially we had to respond to the question, please prove how you are not discriminating against like certain clients, right? And I asked AI, can you please, formulate this sentence, but shorter and crisper? And I got the response, which essentially said the same thing as I wanted to say, but kind of shorter, which is great. But what I get from the AI more and more and more, I mean, not for myself, but what I see as the product of somebody else is just dumb things. And here's my theory. So I believe that AI is in a way similar to any other technology, which is when people get a shortcut, let's say cars or microwaves, it comes with the strings attached. For example, if you have a car and you say, wow, that's great, I don't ever have to walk again, I don't have to exercise, I will save time. So if you don't compensate for the shortcut and you don't exercise, you don't move, you develop an unintended, potentially bad consequence of you not moving. If you always use the microwave and you don't ever eat like fresh food, you will develop an unintended consequence. And it is almost always true with any technology. But specifically with AI, the problem is not like necessarily health, but rather it makes us dumber. um, in a sense that in the beginning, it offers this shortcut and people get excited about it. But then, if you're not careful, you will get lazy and you will lose the, I would say, sensitivity, or you would lose the nuances about what is missing. You just, oh, that's great. I have more or less okay response. Let's go with it, right? So if you're not careful, you will become lazy in a sense that your brain will become lazy. And that's not a good sign, because recruiters, managers, regulators, auditors, for sure. I mean, people see that this has been generated by the AI. And especially the problem is with junior people, because junior people, they view AI generated content as an upgrade to their own capabilities. They say, wow, this sounds so amazing. I would have never, been able to generate such a smart sentence. I look smarter now. That's great, right? So, but you don't see what you don't see, if you know what I mean, right? And because of that, there are not only like you look stupid, let's just say it that way, but also if you use AI to generate policies or generate regulatory responses, the risk is you are creating commitments for your company, you're creating obligations for your company without even realizing that. And this is what I see more and more, because this year has been the first year when AI was used like massively to generate documents, to generate risk assessments. And because regulators and auditors and like all the people who see a lot of content, they're not stupid, right? So they see it, they start coming back and challenging whatever AI has generated. And in some cases, it is wild. So let me give you an example. So I am creating this training, and like the training is how to prepare for an audit. I had this training before, but what I wanted to do for the next training is I wanted to review like audit cases and settlements and kind of enforcement actions against big fintech companies such as Coinbase and Revolut and Monzo and others. So I wanted to see what they like, what was wrong, what were the penalties, and what is the context of this kind of settlements or regulatory enforcement actions. So obviously, I found several cases. I asked AI to read it and summarize like what were the common issues, blah, blah, blah. So the summary was great. But when I asked AI, can you please tell me what the lessons are from this? Like, what are the takeaways? It was total BS. Like, I mean, let me correct it. It was accurate, but it was so generic, such as, you could almost all the time say, be careful, or pay attention to details, right? So it's not wrong, but it's not freaking useful. That's my point. And this is what AI does if you are not careful or if you are overusing that. And because now I have all this massive body of evidence, what is wrong with AI being used in compliance, I have a suggestion. I have a solution for everybody, which is think about AI as not as an accelerator, not as a technology, but as some kind of bar. It's like minimal standard, minimal viable standard you have to have, because everybody is using AI and most people, unfortunately, are lazy. They may not be lazy, but maybe they're in a hurry or they don't prioritize this. They don't realize what's wrong. They use AI and they create deliverables that are not good. So whenever you use AI, you have to be above this bar. You have to be above this level, not because you want to be faster or you want to use AI or you want to be modern. You want to be better because everybody else is lazy. And AI creates this strange bar, this strange kind of hook we have to jump over, which is it on the surface, it doesn't look stupid. It actually looks smart and fast. But you need to know how AI has this, I would say, it's not even like a handicap. Well, we could call it a handicap, but AI has certain patterns, and you can predict what AI would tell and where it will need adjustments because it's not nuanced and because it learns from the, I would say, the vast majority of cases. And my point is, I was talking with somebody and they said that this is the industry best practice. So, for example, you could say that having 3 or more risk categories, like low, medium, high, is the industry best practice. And it feels right. And this is what AI will tell you. Because AI think if the majority of people use that, this is the best practice because AI would assume it's been tested. But let's say majority of politicians are corrupt and take bribes or some kind of, they exploit their positions. We know this. Is it the best practice? No. Do we want to repeat it? No. Do we want to follow this pattern? No. But AI doesn't know right and wrong in that sense. That's why if you're doing something that is smart and nuanced and not what everybody does, you may be on the right path, but AI wouldn't necessarily be able to tell you this unless you prompt it accurately. That's my point. So anyway, guys, if you resonate with what I'm sharing with you, if you feel that you may have become a little bit lazy too, or maybe you see that your team is overusing AI and you're like, yeah, I'm glad they're using technology, but it's getting too much. So if you notice these symptoms and if you see that it's not going in the right direction, I have a solution. Guys, you have to come and join my FinTech Leadership Launchpad program. We're starting next week on Monday. It's a lot of trainings, a lot of pre-recorded trainings, a lot of templates, a lot of solutions, a lot of toolkits, how to manage almost every single compliance project ever. And it comes with a live component, meaning I will be with you live every month offering a training. So this month, January, the training will be how to use AI in a smart way and upgrade AI product so that you actually do what you wanted to do and not like average, mediocre, stupid shit. And next month in February, We're going to talk about how to prepare for the audit, and we're going to learn from all the regulatory cases and penalties of Revolut and Monzo and Coinbase and OKX and many others. And we're going to learn from that and prepare for our audits. And there would be a training every month in the next 6 months. In the links and everything you need to know is in my bio. Look at the FinTech Leadership Launchpad. It has all the program information, everything. I would love for you to join me. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you for following me. Make sure you have a wonderful 2026. Bye.